Hello guys, and welcome back to a new Empires and Puzzles video. So today the hero coach feature just arrived, and what this is basically in exchange for gems, the hero coach will level up a hero of yours up to level 90. So level 90, 4th ascension, all double limit broken with the ether talent unlocked and stuff. So as we can see here, it says in exchange for gems, the hero coach will level up a hero that you own, and the hero will be leveled up to level 90, ascension level 4, and twice limit broken, and the gem cost of training a hero will be reduced if the hero has been leveled up. The downsides are you can only train one hero per event, like the soul exchange and the visiting outfitter. More downsides are you can only train legendary heroes that were released more than 2 years or 730 days before the start of this event, and costumes can be leveled up with the hero coach. So now that we have the main idea of the hero coach event, let's explore the gem cost further. So a hero that is brand new, so at 1-1, which is basically, wait, give me a sec. Okay, so at 1-1, a brand new hero like this, ascension level 1 with a level 1 level, let's just say, will be at 1,000 gems. Now if I level up that hero up to level 50 but still at ascension level 1, that'll be at 815 gems. Same goes for if I ascend a hero to level 2 but still keep it at level 1. Next, an ascension 2 hero at level 60 will be at 593. An ascension 3 hero at level 1 will also be at 593 gems, and a 3 ascension level 70 hero will be at 334 gems. Same thing goes for a 4th ascension level 1 hero. Next, a maxed hero at level 80 and ascension 4 will be at 37 gems, and a single limit broken or a 5th ascension, let's just say, hero at level 1 or at level 81 will be at 18. An ascension level 5 single limit broken at level 85 will also be at 18 gems, and a double limit broken hero and a 1, so that will be 86, I believe. So a double limit broken hero or 6th ascension at level 86 will also be at 18 gems. Now the prices are quite good considering that we don't have to use any feeders, materials, ethers, food, and some other stuff. But some of these costs are not really good. Let's see which costs are decent and not decent. Firstly, I would recommend spending a small, maybe a slightly larger amount of feeders to level up a hero to maybe level 370, so you don't have to spend those epic ascension items to take them to ascension 4. So I don't really recommend doing 1-1, but you can do that if you want to, if you're just lazy like me and don't want to spend any time or feeders. At 1.5 level ascension level 1 at level 50 and ascension level 2 at level 1 is equal amounts. So if you are gonna decide to spend 815 gems, do not, and I say do not, ascend this hero to ascension 2, because just like that, you're just gonna be wasting the resources and the food that you can be using for future heroes or other projects like crafting and stuff. I don't really know. So this is recommended over. So 150 is recommended over 2.1. Next is ascension level 2 level 60 and ascension level 3 level 1. Now this same case goes for, they have an exact same amount of the gems to take them level up to level 90. And again, I do not recommend level wait, this is actually kind of confusing. So I recommend 370 1-1 is fine. 1-5 I recommend. 2-1 I don't really recommend since it has the same gem cost as 1.50 and you'll be spending further resources and food. Same thing goes for 3-1 and 260. Same case goes for 4.1 because why would you want to be wasting epic ascension items? So I don't really recommend that. If you're lacking on ethers or maybe even alpha ethers, I think 4.80 is actually reasonable if you don't have enough money or time to invest in ethers or to purchase ethers outright from the store. I recommend going at one of these last stages. So 6.1 or Double Limit Broken at level 86 I do not recommend since it has the same gem cost. 5.85 if you do have a hero at that level and it's like an actually good hero with a good ether talent, decent stats, or just fits in your team quite well, that is actually doable if you don't have a second copy of that hero. And same case goes for 5.1, just don't waste too much materials. So basically I don't recommend using gems for the second one. So by the second one I mean this one with like the same gem cost but you need to spend like extra materials. For the last three that's acceptable since some of us already have the heroes already at 5-1, 585 or 6-1, just don't have enough feeders. Okay, so that is all for the gem cost. Next, we'll be talking about heroes available in the hero coach feature. So as we know, we are only allowed to level up heroes or put them in the hero coach if they're over 2 years or 730 days after their release date. So here we can see all the dark heroes that are available, and remember, costumes are not included. So first we'll have Erin, I believe her name is Afragina, Gina, which is currently being featured in the Fated Summon. Alfrike, also a decent pick. And throughout the list I'll be recommending heroes that I think should and should not be used for the hero coach feature since you only have one quota. First, Erin I do not recommend because his stats and his special is quite weak and quite outdated. Same goes for Agrafina, but if you're playing at a lower level, Alfrike or Alfrike might work for you. Amethyst, she's just quite fallen down off the charts quite a bit. Still a good, decent damage dealer and feed summoner. I still won't do her though, because there's some extremely good dark heroes up in this list. Next is Anubis. The greed effect is quite nice, but still doesn't compare to other heroes in this list. Next is I believe his name is Aramis. Now Aramis is quite good. The hit 3 I believe with the boosted health and the ailment immunity for the team, quite good. If you don't have anyone better than Aramis, I would recommend getting Aramis to level 90, especially since he's not that old, so he's quite usable on attack teams, definitely not on defense these days. Next is Afranius. Now he is quite an old hero and he is quite useless. Bastet, if you do have her and maybe even her costume unleveled, I would recommend getting Bastet up. That dodge is quite annoying. Now if you need a healer, Belladonna, I think that's her name, should do the trick for you. Vera, only if you have the costume. I would consider her if you have the costume all unleveled. Boss Wolf, just completely garbage hero. I keep forgetting the name to this next hero. It's like Chakrisot or something. But I would not recommend this hero. Charon, the face of the Soul Exchange, I wouldn't really recommend. Next is Clarissa. Now she is quite bad in my opinion, so don't even consider her. Dark Lord, if you do have the costume, and just make sure these heroes are at like level 70 or anything. Diao-chan, same goes if you have the costume for her. Definitely max out the original version, and the hero coach will be extremely beneficial. Domisha, if you have the glass or the tune costumes, maybe, but I just don't really see you spending a whole 2 to 3 months quota on a season 1 hero. So Domisha is kind of a maybe, but I don't really recommend her, only if you have the tune or glass version, and the glass hasn't even come out yet. Dr. Maru, not at all. Freya, extremely good hero, especially if you do have her costume, and she is extremely beneficial in defenses if you're playing at a lower level, but unfortunately there are some counters these days. Next is Goretooth. Now Goretooth is still quite decent for Titans with that 40% defense, normal defense, and negative 45% defense on the second turn. So I could see some people picking Goretooth, but just not really recommend it, especially because he's not that versatile. Next is Gossick. Now he was a meta beast, but how the mighty have fallen. So Gossick is not really recommended for the job. Next is Grimble. If you're playing at a lower level and struggling in Minion Wars, I could see this hero being used, but it's just not the best pick out of this list. Guardian Panther, only if you have her costume and some really good 3-hitters to pair with the elemental defense down. So that's the only scenario I choose her. Hannah, just absolute garbage hero. Hawthorne, I think absolutely everybody has just forgotten about this hero. Hell, surprisingly still usable, and her costume is quite good. So if you have Hell and no one else better, that is one to consider. Hulda, only if you have her costume, and even if you have her costume, I wouldn't recommend her over some of the heroes that we've got upcoming. Jabberwock, I don't really recommend even with his costume. Kage Barado, he's just absolute garbage. Karnov, he's like the only purple Tau buffer, I believe. So if you are looking for a Tau buffer of the dark element, which I'm probably sure like 99.99% of you guys are not looking for, Karnov might be a good option. If you are looking for someone that fits that role, Kemity once featured in the Soul Exchange, but Kemity is just a damage dealer, and damage dealers don't have very good longevity, and that's why I don't really recommend Kemity. Khepri, extremely good hero if you have the costume. In fact, I really like Khepri's costume that recently came out, so he might be one to consider if you have his costume. Kiona is an absolute garbage hero. We don't need to talk about that. I believe this next one is Khonshu. Now Khonshu is running at very fast speed, but at very fast speed he doesn't deal that much damage to especially take out an enemy, and especially if you don't have a costume, I would say avoid this hero. Next is Killhair. Now Killhair, I do have Killhair with the costumes, and if you do have the costume, I still wouldn't recommend this hero. Absolute garbage. Kunshin, same case. If you do have his costume, I believe there is no costume for this guy, but I still wouldn't recommend picking this hero. Lepiota, amazing hero, and if you're playing at a lower level, she could be the one for you. Lohi, he is a priority dispeller, damage dealer, and defense buffer. Now I do have this hero, and the only thing I can say is he's not really that good, so I don't really recommend upgrading this hero in the hero coach. Liu Bei, only if you wait, I thought Liu Bei was the green one. This is Lu Bu, I believe. Even though I have no idea what his name is. So let's just go with Lu Bu. Lu Bu, only if you have his costume. Otherwise, no, because of the stats and stuff. Ludwig, I think that might be my pick for this this hero coach event. This one I believe is called Maligna. Now this one is completely random. Her specials just completely unpredictable, so I don't really recommend her. Also an older hero. Next is Marie something. Now I do have the costume of this hero, and she's just been stuck at 370 forever, and she is not a good hero. Absolute garbage. Now this shark guy, I believe his name is Mach R or something. Absolute garbage as well. Morax, decent hero of the month, but still, I wouldn't really recommend. Not the best of this list. Mysterio, I believe is his name. Not the best of the list as well. Absolute garbage, and he is extremely hard to get, according to some people, as a secret hero, like on the meta. Not nowadays, like back then. Narcissa was once featured in the Soul Exchange. If you do have a team that fits her, I do recommend going Narcissa, especially because of that extremely good special skill. She deals damage. I believe she does something with buffs. I can't really remember. All at fast speed, and she's also a bard, so that should help out a lot. Nyx is not the best hero. She is a charge hero, Styx family, so I don't really recommend her. Obacon only if you have the glass costume and you don't have him at level 80. Onyx, absolutely not. He has just fallen off the charts quite quickly, and like I said, damage dealers just don't have that much longevity. Peppermint, I've absolutely forgotten who this hero is. I just don't even remember his name. Next is Photonus, I believe that's how you pronounce his name. Running at slow speed, his damage is still decent. He's an older Valentine hero. I believe he came out maybe last year or like 2 years ago. But I still see some people using this guy, and he seems like quite a usable hero. Maybe not the best, but if you don't have anyone better, maybe one to consider. Quartz, a ninja health booster, I believe. Absolutely not. Quintus, if you do have his Toon costume, I would maybe consider Quintus. Not as the top of the list, maybe at like the middle. His Toon is not the best, but also necessarily not the worst, because I really like the Toon version of Quintus. Next is Rain. Rain will have to see. Right now, I don't really recommend her, but if a costume does come out for her and you do have a second copy, she might be an extremely good pick if you do manage to grab her costume in the future, and the costume has not come out yet. So for this first hero coach, I don't really recommend her. Sam and Loki, we just don't need to talk about them. Sargasso, absolutely trash hero. Sartana, if you do have the Toon costume. Senin, I do believe he has an upcoming costume. I have no idea if it's released yet, but I don't think so. But I have seen his costume. He does seem decent, but Senin, he's not really reliable anymore. Seshat, I don't recommend. Still an amazing hero, especially when going up against Luna. Set, I don't really recommend. He's on the lower ends of the Season 5 hero. Thothamoon, I don't really recommend. Turgruk, I don't really recommend, apart from if you are looking for Titan heroes. Ursina, if you're playing at a lower level, I guess, and you need like an elemental defense down. Victor has fallen off the charts. Viscaro, absolutely not. And the Chinese Xiang something guy that has recently been featured in the Soul Exchange, I don't think he's the best of heroes in this list. Exnofod, or Exno as some people may say, is an extremely good hero, especially if you have his costume, so that might be one to consider. And Zulog, just ignore people who say that she is a good tank. So that is all for the Dark Heroes, and my top picks would definitely be maybe Aramis, Diao Chan, Dark Lord if you have the costume, Farah Barra if you have the costumes, Guardian Panther, Hannah, Wait, no, not Hannah. Guardian Panther if you have her costume. Hell, if you have her costume. Hulda might be a decent pick. Khepri if you have his costume. Lepiota. Ludwig. Maybe Lu Bu if you have his costume. Narcissa could be a good one. All the Season 1 heroes if you have the 3rd or 4th costume. And I think that is all for the Dark Heroes. Overall, there are a couple of decent picks and a couple of picks that I wouldn't really recommend. But to make it easier for you guys, for the Ice Heroes, I'll be using a pen to cross out the heroes that I don't really recommend. So Adelinda, not really recommended. The damage has just really fallen off. I think his name is pronounced Ager, or I have no idea how to pronounce his name, but I'm very bad at pronouncing, and he's just not the best. Now, I don't recall what her name is, but I do remember that she's a healer, and her costume is like a health booster, I believe, and she does something with fiends, but I still don't really recommend her without the costume, so I'll give that a maybe. Maybe I'll only do that. For Alessi, I do have her costume, and she is an absolute beast. Even at level 85, she is extremely beneficial with that mana cut, so I would recommend Alessi with the costume. Next is Alexandrine, very good healer, hero of the month. If you're playing at a lower level, maybe, but for most people, I wouldn't say so. Alice, I also wouldn't say so. Asmia, absolutely trash hero. Ariel, if you do have her costume. Athena for Titans, if you do have her costume, and you can get that from the visiting outfitter, so it might not be the worst pick. Balor, I have this guy, and he is absolute garbage. Bennu, maybe, but I don't really recommend this guy. Bobo, not at all. Bubbles featured in the Soul Exchange. He was quite good with the shifting mindless attack, but not really anymore. Now, Cao, if you do have his costume, he is an absolutely amazing hero with his unstoppable minions passive and his costume stuff and something like that. Cathal, not very good hero. Cinnamon, extremely good hero if you pair her with someone like Guardian Hippo, but for now I'll say no, since there's a lot of good heroes in this list. Next, Cobalt, I think that's his name. Damage don't have the best longevity. Crystalis, I believe is her name, not the best hero. Esme, I can see some people choosing Esme, especially because of the fiend heroes that have been coming out these days. But overall, I don't really recommend Esme. I think her name is Exera, but she's just absolute garbage when compared to the other Season 4 heroes. Fenrir, even with costume, he's just fallen off quite a bit. Finley, used to be an absolute beast, but now not so much. Fortuna, not really. Frida, maybe. I'll keep her on this list for now. If you're playing at a lower level, I do believe she gives defense down. This guy, I believe, summons minions, so absolutely not. And he's also quite an older hero. Gaylor, not at all. Glinda, a maybe if... I'll put a slash on these guys. I'll put it on Ariel as well. A slash on these guys is basically maybe if you're like an older hero, but I've seen Glinda paired with Pengi in Mythic Titans, especially the Ifrit one where you have the red Titan. Guardian Hippo, absolutely. Four head of fairies, I don't really think so, but if you do have the costume, that could be quite good, so I'll leave that one on. Next is Himeros. I don't really think she's a good hero. Iris, same goes for her. Isarnia, the tune is quite decent, but if you don't have the tune, I don't recommend at all. King Arthur, no. I have no idea how to pronounce this guy's name. It's like Clarn or something. Krampus if you do have the costume, but I wouldn't really waste gems on this guy anymore, especially if you have amazing options like Guardian Hippo, Athena, Lacey, Cow Cow, Head of Fairies. Now for Magni, his Toon version is absolutely insane, so I'll keep that as a maybe for now. Master Lepus has just fallen off quite a bit. I think this one's called Manatra. It's like a sniper, and the damage is just not good anymore. Mickey, if you're running Titans on blues, so I would actually recommend Mickey. Milady the Winter used to be a tank, but she's just not really good anymore, has fallen off the charts quite quickly. Malena, still a usable hero, but I do not really recommend her. Still featured in the Fated Summon, so if you don't have anyone better to grab, I would recommend to grab Malena after maybe Ludwig or Ray or Ruffian and Nurgit. Malena might be a fourth or fifth option, but for this one, I won't really recommend spending gems on her. Miriam and Midnight, absolutely not. Same goes with Missandra. Morel, one case only if you have Pop Hit or Star Walker and Morel's costume. So Morel, I'd keep as a maybe. He is extremely good if paired with Guardian Hippo, Star Walker, Pop Hit, and some other heroes. Pengi, absolutely even better if you have his costume, but if you don't have his costume, that's still gonna be fine. He is extremely good in both offense and Titans. Oni Wakamaru, the game has made him relevant again, especially because of that granny thing, Bernadette, I believe. So especially because of Bernadette, she dispels first, and Oni's taunt is undispellable. So only Oni will be transformed into a cursed painting, and if you have Oni Wakamaru, this might be one of my top picks in this entire list. Next is Passepartout or something. I have no idea. My pronunciation is quite bad. Absolutely not. Perseus only if you have his costume. I have no idea what this guy's name is, but he is a damage dealer, and he's just fallen off quite a bit. Quentin, when the costume comes out, but for now I'll mark him as a no. This guy is a healer, I believe, but he's quite old and dated, so no. Rian, not very good damage coming from him, so I'd say no as well. Toon and Glass Richard are absolute menaces, so I take that as a maybe. Rumpelstiltskin relies on luck only, so I won't really recommend this guy. Russella, absolutely not. Skady used to be an amazing hero, not now. Snow White, I wouldn't even consider. Now, Sobek, I've actually got this one at 90, and I wasn't impressed at all. The only thing that actually impressed me is that the damage bypasses, but now his damage is not quite good, so I stripped him of his Alpha Ethers, and now he's only sitting at level 80. I wouldn't recommend Sobek as well, but if you have his costume, that would be a maybe for me. Tethys, I wouldn't really recommend, to be honest. She's just dated. I think this one is Thanatos. I think this one is a healer, and for those reasons, I am out. Theobald, he used to be a decent hero, not now. Toon Thornton is quite decent, so I keep him in. Tinsel, I do have Tinsel at level 85, and I am upgrading Star Walker as we speaking. As we are speaking, I am upgrading Star Walker to pair up with Tinsel. I recently got Star Walker from an Astral Summit, along with the new Astral Dwarf hero Quarry. So I was extremely excited to pair him up with Tinsel, and Tinsel can also work instead of Morel and Pop Hit. If you do have those heroes, Star Walker and Pop Hit, Tinsel should be an amazing option. Vela, absolutely not. She is an absolute garbage. Water Pipe, I could see some people upgrading this from the past Soul Exchange, the recent Soul Exchange, I believe, if they managed to snack Water Pipe from there. Zengar, I believe he's gonna come out with a costume, but his specials aren't absolutely mind blowing, so I won't really recommend this guy. And this last guy is a ninja healer, so I won't really recommend. So this is all for the ice heroes. So as far as heroes, I would recommend will be Athena if you have the costume, Alacy if you have the costume, Ariel if you have the costume, this chick right here if you do have her costume with the boosted health, Cao only if you have his costume, Frida if you're playing at a lower level, Glinda if you're playing at a lower level, Guardian Hippo might be one of the best picks out of the ice list. I'd go with Head of Fairies if I do have her costume, but there are some better heroes. Isarnia only if you only have the Toon costume. Krampus maybe if you're playing at a lower level. Magni, the Toon version, is absolutely a staple. Mickey, still usable, especially in Red Titans. Morel, extremely good with her costume. Pengy, absolute staple against Titans. Oni is extremely relevant nowadays, especially with Bernadette, and you can get him off in 5 tiles. Perseus only if you have his costume, and you can actually make extremely interesting synergies with the elemental defense down from Perseus costume, Guardian Hippo, and some other 3 hitters like Pop Hit, extremely devastating hit. Toon Richard and Glass Richard are absolutely insane. Same goes for Thorn, maybe slightly less powerful. Tinsel, very good if you have a Star Walker or Pop Hit. Water Pipe if you do manage to snag him from the last Soul Exchange. So that is all for the ice heroes. Next we'll be moving on to the fire heroes, I believe. So here we will start with Alucard. Now Alucard I don't really recommend. Now he is usable in the what's it called? Minion War, I believe. So I'll keep that as a maybe. This guy, I forgot his name, absolutely not. Ares, the art is absolutely amazing, but in terms of specials, absolutely not, even though you have his costume. Now this Minotaur guy has fallen off the charts quite a bit. Aslar, if you do have his Toon costume, absolutely devastating when you fire him multiple times, so I will put that as a maybe if you have his costume. Baldur, I think this guy's name is Baldur. I was confusing him with Balor, the blue hero. Baldur, I don't really recommend. Black Knight, if you do have his costume and you don't have any other taunter, I believe. Black Knight is a maybe. Bone Crusher, decent hero, but the damage has just fallen off the charts a bit. Captain Kestrel and Captain Nemo, absolute garbage. Chomper, I don't really recommend. A newer hero, I believe, of the Mighty Pets family, but again, it just relies too much on the damage, so it doesn't have that much longevity. Cleaver, absolutely not. Fiend Summoner, really light damage dealer, I wouldn't really recommend, and his fiends are not beef enough, in my opinion. Next, Cupido, I'd say a maybe, but he's just fallen off quite a bit. Still extremely good in a rush to neutralize targets, though. Next is Deantris something. I have no idea how to pronounce his name, but I don't really recommend him. The burn damage is not enough these days. I think his name is Doxan. I don't really recommend him. Next is Ebba. I don't really recommend her as well. Too reliant on the damage. Eldeek, I think that's how you pronounce his name. I don't really recommend. For Elena, I think if you do have the Toon version and you don't have the base version level, I would go with Elena. For Elizabeth, I don't really recommend, even if you have the costume. Next is Next is Emilio. I don't really recommend Emilio and Erebus, since her damage is what makes her an actual hero back then. Garnet, absolute staple back then, but he's just fallen off the charts quite a bit. Jeff John, extremely good against minion summoners like Moonbell, where you can steal, but she's just not the best minion counter hero. Gravemaker, I still remember the days where he was one of the best heroes in the game, and everyone was chasing him in the Atlantis portal like crazy, but unfortunately he has just fallen off. Not quite a bit, but quite a lot. And same goes with Grazul. Next is Guardian Kong, and if you are struggling with ice heroes like Toon Richard, I would recommend getting Guardian Kong up to level 90 and getting his costume, maybe from the Visiting Outfitter. I might do that myself from the Visiting Outfitter, and Guardian Kong is a huge contender. In fact, I might even do this. Hathor, especially with the costume, extremely good hero, very good healer, and especially with the costume where you get those extremely good passives. But I wouldn't really use her costume though, just get her costume for the passives and the extra stats. That's all I do. Hohenwerf, I think this is his name. I don't really recommend. I have no idea what this guy's name is. I don't really recommend. Ignacio, he's coming up with a costume, I believe. So SG's cooking up a costume for this guy, but I don't really recommend taking Ignacio just for now. Ilmarinen, I think that's how you pronounce his name. I have no idea how you pronounce most of these heroes' names. He's a maybe even a no, because he has like that shared receive damage for the enemies, and he is usable for the quest, but most people just have Wilbur, and there is no substantial difference between the two, so I wouldn't really recommend going with Ilmarinen, and most people don't have that hero anyways. Next is Isrod. He's just dated. Jean-Francois, not at all. Kagan, if you do have his Toon version, he is an absolute beast for challenge events and tower events. So I would say maybe on Kagan. I maybe even leave that blank. Khufu, extremely good hero. If you do have a decent red hitting team, I would recommend Khufu. I'd keep that as a maybe. Cave Crush, absolutely not. And Lady Loki, not really. Lowena, I don't really recommend Lowena, even if you got Lowena from the Fated Summon, so I don't really recommend the hero. Marjana, the Glass and the Toons are quite good snipers. Wait, wrong one. I would leave that as a maybe. Next is Mitsuko. Mitsuko is a maybe if you do have the stats bonus for the costumes and stuff. She is extremely beneficial when going up against blue hitters, where she reflects all the damage back to the caster. Next is the Magic Tower hero. I think her name is Nadezhda, I think. But I don't really think she's that good of a hero. Natalia, even with costume, absolutely not. Nor, I think she severely needs a buff. Oceanus, there are some better Titan heroes out there, but he is an alternative. But for now, I'll leave him as a no. Captain Octros, I think that's his name. Absolutely not. Otis, I don't really recommend. Phonexa, maybe if you do have this lady. She is an amazing healer and critical damage, which is quite good. Now we have an array of challenge heroes: Puss in Boots, Queen of Hearts, and Red Riding Hood. I won't really recommend these heroes. Ruben, absolute trash. Ruffian and Nergib from the Fated Summon. I could see some people picking this hero, so I'll leave that as a maybe, especially since it's an extremely good hero. Their main I believe the main point of this hero is not actually to deal damage, but for the mana cut. Ruby, the mana cut's quite good, but still quite reliant on the damage. Russell, even though he can never miss, I don't really recommend. Sana, just an absolute trash hero. Saoirse, if you have her costume, but her costume was recently released, so I won't really recommend her. So I wouldn't really recommend her taking up to level 90 if you don't have the costume, but if you do have the costume, definitely do. Sekhmet, her costume just came out, and unfortunately she's not the best hero in season 5, but especially with the stats, I'd say she might be a potential option for some of you. Serendite, quite an old hero, I believe, and the flame damage is just not enough anymore. Sun Quan, I think that's how you pronounce his name. It's with a Q, and I can't pronounce names with Q's. But he is an amazing hero, especially with his costume that recently came out, so I'll leave that as a blank space. Next is Tahir. I think the thing is, most of these heroes is that I know their name, but I just don't know how to pronounce it. But this guy's quite bad. Tedasheri, only if you have her costume. I have no idea how to pronounce this guy's name, but I know it's a Try. Vanda, absolutely not. Zenda, even if costume, no. Xiao Tu, I could see some people using this. Now, I have Yang Mai at level 80, and she is absolute garbage. Zagrok, I have 3 of these guys, and he is not the best, unfortunately. Zenobia, I could see some people doing her. And Zimkitha, only if you have the costume. So overall for Reds, I would say the best picks might be Alucard for Minion War, Aslar for if you have the Toon costume, maybe in the Glass costume if it releases and you decide to chase that. Black Knight only if you don't have a taunt in other colors, but there are definitely some better taunters out there. Cupido only if you don't have any good reds up. Next is Elena, only if you have the Toon costume. Guardian Call, mainly because of his costume, the reflect damage against ice, so that is quite good. Hathor, absolute yes if you have her base version, so I would recommend that, but unfortunately her costume is not up in the visiting outfitter. Kagan, absolute beast in tower events and challenge events, so that would be a yes. Khufu, extremely good hitter, but just fallen off a bit, but the elemental defense down is what's keeping him up there. Marjana, if you only have the Toon or the Glass versions of her costume and you still don't manage to level her up at that point. Mitsuko, only if you do decide to go for her costume because of that stat bonus. Otherwise, I don't really recommend. She won't be that survivable. Phonexa might be a potential option if you do manage to snack her from that soul exchange. Saoirse, only if you have her costume, and only if you have her costume. Sekhmet, if you only have her costume, and this War of the Three Kingdoms guy, if you only have her costume. Tedasheri, only if you have a costume. Zenobia, maybe even if you have her costume, is better. And Zimkitha, even if with the costume, she is quite an amazing hero. So that's all for the reds. Next, we'll be moving on to our greens. First off, starting with Almus. Now, Almus, extremely good hero, especially in a rush war facing Bernadette and stuff. So, I think this hero is quite good, reflecting all damage at slow speed. 450, I believe it's 400% damage to all. Alberich, I think if you're... So if you're playing at a lower level, maybe, but at a higher level, no, he's just not that good anymore. Archie, only if the costume, but generally still no. Arco, I wouldn't really recommend. Athos, 470% damage sniper, very fast speed. I don't really recommend as well. This next guy, I think his name is Atomos. I don't really recommend even with the costume. Now Augustus, I don't recommend as well. Balbar, I don't recommend. Bertilia, I don't recommend. Congalok, I don't really recommend as well. Cristobal, avoid this guy at all costs. Something that starts with an E, and Fluffy, don't do this guy as well. Econite could be a potential option, but still don't do that. I think Eldanaha might be a decent option if you do have her costume. I would go the same with Elkanin, especially if you have his what's it called, glass or tune costume. So Elkanin's a yes. This guy, absolutely not. Enigmo, if you do have the costume for Evelyn, I would recommend choosing her if you have some 3 hitters that are that are the nature element, so that would pair quite well. But she's on the lower of the list in my opinion, because of there are some extremely good heroes like Elkanin or even Lady of the Lake. But I'd keep Evelyn as a yes for now, no doubt. Francine, absolutely not. Frigg, I wouldn't really recommend. Garjamo, no. Grace, not really. Green Knight. Gregorian, even with the costume. Guan Yu, only with the costume. Guardian Chameleon, I wouldn't really recommend. Hammer Tusk, maybe if you don't have a damage increaser. Heimdall, only if you have his costume. Horgol, probably not, even if you do have his tune costume. This guy from the Calavera family, I have no idea how to pronounce his name. Absolutely not. Jade, I believe, no. Catalin, if you do have the tune costume, I would recommend you getting the tune costume for Catalin, not because of the special, but for the stat boost for the second costume, I believe, of Catalin. So I would say yes. Kai, fast speed, 430 sniper. Bone Fiend Trap, not really. Kingston, also a sniper, I wouldn't really recommend. Lady Locke, don't really recommend. Lady of Little Lake is quite good, especially because of the treasure quest, where the primary objective is to like control mana and make sure the opponent doesn't fire. So I wouldn't really so I would recommend Lady of the Lake, my bad. Liana, I mean, maybe if you have the tune version, but I wouldn't really recommend Liana over someone like Elkanin or Catalin. Lubei only if you have the costume for this guy. I would say yes. Lud hates something, actually not. Mayat or I think the proper way to pronounce it might be Mayat. I have no idea how to pronounce, my bad. But if you do manage to snack her from the Soul Exchange and don't have the mats, I would recommend going with Mayat. Next is Margaret. Nah, I don't really recommend her. Max, absolute trash healer. Mistweaver, fast speed, I think, deals damage to 3 block status effect buffs. No. Morgan Le Fay, quite an old hero, probably not. Mother North, I don't really recommend. Only scenario if you don't have what's his name, Heimdall or Alberic. Mayoni, I believe this might be not the best well, Mayoni is a good hero, but here I do have Mayoni, and she is nowhere to be found in this list, as you can see. See here, I have Mayoni at level 85, not maxed. and she is not on the list here, so that's quite unfortunate. She might be my pick for like maybe the next hero coach, but we just lost all our stuff. Wait, let me get this for a moment. Let's just leave that. Peridot or Peridot, as someone might say it. Absolutely not. Mayoni gets disqualified. Peridot, no. Phileas Fogg, even with the costume, I won't really recommend. Queen Anne, if you do manage to get her for the Soul Exchange, congratulations. That was a waste of 15 heroes. Quenelle, only if you have the costume and you can get her from the Fated Summon. So I would leave that as a maybe. Retosker, absolutely not. Roz, I do believe they're coming out with a costume for her, so I won't really recommend Roz as well. Roz I would recommend if you do have the costume, but the odds of pulling the costume will be low, so right now I'll keep it as a no. Silveria, absolutely not. This guy, I think it's Stain Tongue, right? Since we already have a Smart Tongue, yeah, I think it's Stain Tongue. Hit 3, not the best. Tarlac, the face of the hero coach himself. If you are looking for a blue Titan hero, Tarlac might be your man. Telluria, I just remember the days where this hero was in the meta, but right now she's fallen off quite a bit. The Hatter, I wouldn't really recommend. Toxicandra, same goes for her. This guy from the Kalevala family, absolutely not. I think his name starts with a K or something. Viscaro, hit 3, I don't really recommend. Winifred, I think she was featured in the Soul Exchange quite a while ago, but I still won't really recommend her. Zandrella, maybe she was featured in a Soul Exchange at 20 souls, I believe, but I don't really recommend Zandrella because of the stats. But if they're coming out with a costume for Roz, might as well they come up with a costume for Zandrella. And if you do need a mana controller, Zandrella might be the pick for you. Yuna, no. Zelene costume, maybe, but overall, I don't really recommend her. Zoc, I don't recommend. The heroes I would recommend. Amus, if you have the costume for the stat bonus. There's no one here. Elkonin, if you do have his glass and tune versions. Costume Evelyn, if you do have her costume. Guan Yu, if you have his costume. Heimdall, if you have his costume. Horgol, I won't recommend. Hammer Tusk, Toon Catalin, if for the stat bonus. And I would really recommend using the second or first version of her costumes. Lady of the Lake, even better if you have her costume. Extremely good for treasure quests, since it is based on mana control now, I believe. Liu Bei, extremely good hero if you have his costume, so very recommended. And Quenelle, if you have his costume. Her costume. Tarlac, the face of the hero coaching himself. So if you are looking for a blue Titan hero, he could do the job. And Zandrella, lastly, if you are looking for a mana hero. So that's all for the green heroes. Now let's move on to the holy or the yellow heroes. Now let's try and end this before we can reach an hour. So Akarog, absolutely not, even with the costume. I have this guy and I've not been leveling up this hero at all. And she was once a good hero, but just like I said, damage doesn't really have the best longevity. I think her name is Ayuda. Absolutely not. Yang Bei something. Caitlyn, I wouldn't really recommend. Maybe they're coming up with a costume. If they're coming up with a costume for Cathal, Senin, Rian, what's the other one? Saoirse. This one, I don't really recommend. Cleopatra, if you do have her costume, extremely good hero. Dabria, Reviver, I won't really recommend. Delilah, healer, quite old. I won't really recommend even with the costume. Divana, same goes for her, quite old. Zuri, I wouldn't really recommend. Drake Fong, now I have this guy, and I don't really use him as much, so I won't really recommend. Now you have Eloise. Now Eloise is quite good, especially for facing minion teams, so I might keep that as a maybe option. Next is Erlang Shen. Now, Erlang Shen is quite dated, but he is still usable. I believe he was featured in a Soul Exchange. Eset, extremely good Titan hero. If you don't have anyone to place the role of a Tau buffer, Eset is the one for you, so I'll keep that as a maybe. I completely forgot her name, but I don't really recommend her. Ferdinand, I don't really recommend him as well. But if you are looking for a support hero, I would recommend Ferdinand, but he's just not the best of the list. Gilligan, absolutely not. Gazelle, only if you have her costume unleveled and stuff. So I would keep Gazelle as a maybe. Guardian Owl, absolutely trash. Guinevere, maybe, but I would say no since there are some other heroes. Hachiko, no. Hanitra, the dodge is nice, but the stats are quite dated now. Horus, not the best. Inari, I don't really like her. Jasper, I believe, is this guy's name. Not really good. They're coming out with a costume for this one, but for now, not really. Toon June is quite good, maybe at like the end of the version. Sorry for the cut, I'll continue with the video. Okay, so we were at June. So June, maybe slightly at the lower ends of the toons, so I don't really recommend him. Jot, his damage is quite weak now, and like I said, damage or offense heroes, damage dealers are quite don't have the best longevity, let's just say. Next is Justice. Justice only if you have the toon version of Justice. Kara, she is a taunter, I believe. Not the best of taunters, but she will work if you do need a taunter of the holy element. Next is Kullervo. Kullervo, amazing hero, especially if you have his costume, and extremely usable, really not that old in my opinion, and the costume stat bonus should make up for his oldness, let's just say. Next is Laohu. Laohu, amazing passive, extremely decent snipe in my opinion, and overall he is a decent hero. I also believe he deals damage based on the damage he inflicts, and the minion passive is absolutely great. Next is Leonidas. Now Leonidas, if you have the toon or the glass version, I would recommend this hero. Next, Malin. Malin, just not the best. Her ailments are quite weak, and the damage is not quite good anymore. Next is Melosi. Now Melosi, this may surprise people, but I would actually recommend leveling up this hero if you are playing at a higher level, since Melosi running at very fast speed is an amazing counter to Bernadette, because he gives an effect where the hit target can cast status ailments on allies, and he fits that role perfectly at very fast speed. Next is Matilda. When paired with damage over time heroes, she is quite good, but she isn't very versatile, so that's why I won't really recommend her. Mirasonk, I won't really recommend as well. Same goes for Micah and Motega. Musashi. Neith was once a good hero. This one was Nemesis, I think. just too reliant on the damage snipe. Norn's not the best, very hard to play around with. Odin, I don't really recommend either. Ojama, if you're struggling in minion wars. Onatel, she is a decent hero, but I won't really recommend her. Papyrus, absolutely not. Penolite, I think that's how you pronounce her name. Absolutely not. Poseidon, I don't really recommend. Prof Linenbrock, not really. Queen Gawain, if you do have her from the Soul Exchange, to be honest, I won't really recommend this hero, especially because of the vengeance buff or ailment, whatever they call it. If it's dispelled, they get the damage, and it's too reliant on the opposing team, so I won't really recommend her. Rana, I don't really recommend. Ranver, I don't really recommend. Rias, I don't really recommend. Rock, even if you have the costume, I would recommend, to be honest. Sif, if you're playing at a lower level. Roosli, no. Thor, no. Don't really recommend. Topaz, I don't really I don't really know what his name is. Toon Viv is an absolute staple. White Rabbit is actually decent, but I won't really recommend him compared to all the other heroes in this list. Wolfgang, if you do have his costume, I would recommend Wolfgang, but if you don't have his costume, do not take it from the Fated Summon. Xandria, I don't really recommend as well. Zekina Tile Buffer, extremely good. I can't remember whether he buffs tiles or not. But either way, I don't really recommend him. And the two War of Three Kingdoms, Zhang Fei and Zhuge Liang, I would recommend both of them if you have the costume. So overall, for the holy heroes, the ones I'd recommend is Cleopatra, extremely good. Maybe Eloise for minion wars or a minion heavy team. Erlang Shen for equalizer offense. Isat maybe for Titans. Gazelle if you have her costume or will be getting her from the visiting outfitter. Toon Justice if you do have the Toon version. Kalervo if you have the costume. Lao Hu maybe if you don't have someone better. Toon or Glass Leonidas if you do have those. Melosi, extremely good hero nowadays, especially when doubling it broken, he gets the extra stats, and running at very fast speed, he can neutralize Bernadette in 5 tiles. Ojama if you're struggling in minion war. Riss if you need a bard, to be honest. Rock only if you have the costume. Sif if you're playing at a lower level and have the costume. Vivica, Toon, and Glass, same drill with all the season 1 heroes. Wolfgang only if you have the costume. Xandria, not a good hero. And Zhang Fei and Zhuge Liang is absolute staples in the War of Three Kingdoms family. So overall, I'd recommend these heroes, and remember, at the end of the day, this is just my opinion, and if you have been sticking around this long, please leave a like and subscribe, and I thank you for everything that you have done to support me and this channel, and I hope you have a fantastic day. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you very much for watching.